So when you do the regular reverse hyper, you need to make sure to tempo it so that the muscles have to work not only in the concentric, but in the braking portion of the movement. In the swinging style that you're going to see here, this style is meant for basically all spinal traction. There's not a ton of muscle work once the weight is actually starting to move.
So in my case, I'm doing it a lot heavier on my actual 2 training days where I actually train lower body. And I can honestly say, I've joked before and said that, people talk about feeling muscles. I have never felt anything in my glutes ever in my life training. Yes, I mean deadlifting over 600 pounds, I've never felt my glutes. Squatting well over 500 pounds, I have never felt my glutes. Doing a 500-pound deep box squat, I do not feel my glutes. When I used to do the hip thrust and glute bridges, you guys have seen me do 5 sets of 10 with 505 on a glute bridge. You see me do 5 sets of 10 with 445 on a hip thrust. I don't actually feel my glutes. When I go heavy for high reps on the reverse hyper, and I'm talking anything over 300 pounds, it's the first time I have ever felt my glutes training. First time I've ever felt DOMs in my glutes, which was interesting because I've never experienced that before. Then we come over to the strength training aspects. You can build your deadlift off that device. And that's something I'm using it for myself also. I feel like that and the good mornings are going to be pivotal for continuing to build my deadlift up because I'm in the low 600s now, but I want to bring that up. That device is going to be perfect for it. And again, as soon as you go heavy on it, you'll understand. And when I say heavy, I mean we have to go heavy. Like I'm trying to get to something like 425 for sets of 25 reps. That's what I've actually been told that I personally need to do for my specific goals. So the first time you go really heavy on it and you start really working the weight up to the point where you're hitting sets to failure at 15 plus reps with a heavy weight, in my case that was when I got past 300, you will notice your entire back, hamstrings, glutes, low back will light up the same way that they do off of a really heavy. Same muscles that you feel hurt after you fail a 1 rep max on something like a deficit deadlift, because again, it seems to be sometimes a little more painful afterwards. And I don't mean sharp pains, I mean just that dull ache through the muscles. You get the same thing off of this device. It really works the same muscles. You can build your deadlift off the reverse hyper if you're willing to treat it as a hypertrophy exercise instead of just a prehab exercise, right? Where you're using really light weight. Because look, guys, if you're doing 150 pounds on there, that is prehab. You're not going to get bigger and stronger off that. If you're a girl, you might. Like if you're a 110-pound woman, you might. But as a grown man, you're not going to get stronger off of that. You're just not. It's therapeutic. You've got to get really, really heavy on it. So in other words, even you guys who want to use it to help build even a 500 deadlift, which is not that big, you're not going to do that with 150 pounds. All right, you're going to need to work up past 300 pounds for high reps on there. Floppy, flippy, floppy, flippy, floppy, flippy, floppy, flippy, floppy, flippy, reverse hypers. And I'm trying to focus now on, again, the longest range of motion I can get. Well, not at the bottom, because I'm trying to control it. Controlling the eccentrics, trying to feel the glutes and the erectors at the top. So I'm trying to get that up, a little bit higher. Some of these sets I didn't know because, again, feeling a little off in this weather, but at least I got it done. Main thing is going in and just getting the weight done, getting the workout done. And I think at the last set or two, I really focused more on trying to get, the most control of the weight and to squeeze that low back and glutes on the way up. Obviously, you can't hold it. It's not going to happen even with these sort of weights. But again, controlling everything a lot more. Okay, again, trying to create better control. And again, remembering this is a restoration movement. Yes, I pushed it for hard progression, but I'm at a point now where it's like, the good mornings and the glute ham raises should build the progression on those lifts. This will help, will absolutely help. But I really want to use it for the restorative effects and for the low back benefits more than anything. I need to keep my back healthy, right? So rather than try to push this like a main exercise, which I did for quite a while, I'm going to treat it more as the restorative and low back movement. Again, subject to change. Makes it a lot easier to get set up and stuff though. And I feel like I'm working just as hard on it. When I control it more like this with half the weight, I feel just as much work in the low back. Okay. Feel just as much work in the glutes. We're still getting the desired response. So I'm happy with that. Very happy with that.